Very good evening, everyone. Hello, Sanchari. How are you? Hope you're doing good. Hope everybody is doing good. Today we have a discussion on one of I think what I consider to be one of the most unique articles in the Constitution, and उससे भी ज़्यादा important, I think it's also one of the most famous in terms of practical application. ये एक ऐसा प्रोविजन है, ऐसा एक फंडामेंटल राइट है जिसपे बहुत सारे हमारे करंट अफेयर्स आर आल्सो रिलेटेड, वेदर इट इज movie bans to book bans to the ban on gambling, except in some parts of India like uh, Goan waters, या अगर हम देखें तो सिक्किम में भी गैम्बलिंग अलाउड है. There is the issue on the ban of alcohol, which is also a very popular discussion. Particularly, it was always banned in Gujarat. Abhi recent times में it was also banned in Bihar. मथुरा में कुछ अलग चल रहा है about the ban on alcohol. कई सारे स्पीचेस की वजह से लोगों को अरेस्ट किया जाता है, कभी नहीं अरेस्ट किया जाता है. Again, there's a lot of issues, uh, all of which are centered around one or the other freedom as covered and as discussed under Article 19 of the Constitution, right? A few more people have also joined in. I see a few more people on the chat box as well. Baki log, I think, are still joining in. But very good evening, Hasika. Daydreamer, bhai, good evening. I bhai बहन जो भी I अब daydreamer से uh, पता नहीं चल रहा है gender. But very good evening. I don't know what your name is. सिंधुजा, हाय, वेरी गुड इवनिंग टू यू. भाई भाई सही है. ओके, तो ऐसे तो लगे हाथ तो भाई नाम भी बता दो, है ना. आदित्य, वेरी गुड इवनिंग टू यू. अरिदिमा, क्रिश, very very good evening, good people. Witcheress of Rivia, is that, what is that a reference to? I don't even know. Is that some sitcom or is it a Game of Thrones reference? I don't really know, है ना. उधर भाई गुड इवनिंग. Daydreamer is Arjun. Okay, सही है. So anyway, like I was telling you guys, Article 19 एक बहुत ही popular kind of article है. There is so many discussions that happen. There are so many current affairs that are related to Article 19. Today, what I wanted to touch upon is some of the unique features of Article 19. How Article 19 is a little different from most of the other fundamental rights, like right to life or even right to equality. बहुत सारे फंडामेंटल राइट्स तो हैं ही, फ्रॉम आर्टिकल 12 to article 35 of the constitution. How are they different from article 19? That's essentially something that I wanted to discuss, right. From the show Witcher. Okay, I unfortunately have not really seen that show, and that's why I missed the complete reference. So I don't know, is it nice? I mean, it must be nice. At least you definitely like it. So I'll try to I'll see if I like it or not. Anyway, let's move on to our core discussion. By way of a quick introduction, of course, since I see some of you are definitely meeting me for the first time, some of you, of course, I've met before. But my name is Devajyoti Das, and as you can see, जो I think आप लोगों के लिए सबसे relevant होगा is I had gotten an All India rank 20 in the MLS Bangalore entrance in 2006. I've also been a corporate lawyer. I still am a corporate lawyer, and I was working with this law firm called Amarchand Mangaldas, which is one of the topmost law firms for sure. And my specialization used to be capital markets. So all of these IPO, FPO, ये सब जो हो रहा है, जैसे LIC का भी हुआ है, and that's basically what I used to do. Now, what are two unique features and some of the related things that I wanted to discuss is, first of all, most of the fundamental rights अगर आप देखेंगे most of the fundamental rights are available to everyone, right? Whether it is right to life, उसमें अगर if you look at Article 21, um, in terms of the language that is used in Article 21 of the Constitution, it says no person, right? Article क्या मैं बता रहा हूँ? Article sorry, plug in ही नहीं किया. We work now. Is it? Okay. Yeah. I think so. Article 21 अगर हम देखेंगे, it uses the word person, right? No person shall be deprived of their right to life and personal liberty except in accordance with procedure established by law. Again, if you look at Article 14, which deals with right to equality, उसमें भी क्या लिखा है? उसमें लिखा है every person shall have equality before the law and equal protection of laws and so on. Right? On the other hand, if you look at the language that is actually used in Article 19 of the Constitution, which is basically the list of various freedoms. 19(1)(a तो बहुत ही पॉपुलर है, आई एम श्योर आप सबने सुना ही होगा. दैट इज फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच एंड एक्सप्रेशन. वी हैव फ्रीडम ऑफ मूवमेंट, फ्रीडम ऑफ असेंबली, freedom to join any association, freedom to reside anywhere within the territory of India, freedom to choose any trade or profession. बहुत सारे freedoms हैं, right? Now these freedoms are available. जो 19 में है वहां पर person word is not used. The word used in Article 19 is citizens, right? Which means Article 19 freedoms are available only to the citizens of India. Now, what's the reason? Well, one of the obvious reasons is that most of the fundamental rights are in the nature of human rights. अब obviously जहां right to life की बात हो रही है, life itself is a fundamental right, not because आप भारत के नागरिक हैं, but कोई ऑस्ट्रेलिया से भी है या कोई यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स से है या सूडान से है या इथियोपिया से है, फर्क नहीं पड़ता. ह्यूमन राइट है. लाइफ तो कम से कम हम प्रिजर्व करेंगे हर इंसान का, राइट? एवरी पर्सन should have a right to life. Same goes for right to equality and so many other fundamental rights. But if you look at 19, and particularly let's say 19(1)(a हम देखें, freedom of speech and expression. Now freedom of speech and expression, well, to a large extent, yes, it's a human right. And even foreigners have a freedom of speech. ऐसा नहीं है कि फॉरेनर्स का फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच है ही नहीं, है. बट फॉरेनर्स का जो फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच है वो फंडामेंटल राइट के कैटेगरी में नहीं आता है. इट्स नॉट अ फंडामेंटल राइट, इट्स अ स्लाइटली लोअर इन हायरार्की. इट्स जस्ट स्लाइटली लोअर इन हायरार्की. फंडामेंटल राइट इज द हाईएस्ट, राइट? सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट अगर देखें कौन सा राइट होता है, दैट रैंक 1 इज ऑफ कोर्स फंडामेंटल राइट्स. Rank 2 में हमारा constitutional rights है, and then we have legal and other statutory rights and so on. So basically, if the government wants to put a restriction on my freedom of speech or your freedom of speech, because all of us are Indian citizens, then government के पास जो restrict करने का power है, obviously our freedoms are also not unlimited, है ना? एकदम unlimited right तो हमारे पास भी नहीं है. एक सेडिशन का लॉ है, डिफेमेशन का लॉ है, हम ऐसे ही चौराहे पे गाली दे दें, ये सब हो जाए. फ्रीडम ऑफ मूवमेंट, राइट? अब फ्रीडम ऑफ मूवमेंट या फ्रीडम ऑफ रेसिडेंस का मतलब ये नहीं है दैट आई कैन रैंडमली एंटर द सुप्रीम कोर्ट और आई कैन स्टार्ट लिविंग इनसाइड द राजभवन और द राष्ट्रपति भवन. ये ऐसे नहीं होगा. ऑब्वियसली देयर आर रीजनेबल रेस्ट्रिक्शंस दैट आर एप्लीकेबल टू दीज फ्रीडम्स. तो भारत सरकार हो या प्रदेश की सरकार हो, एनी गवर्नमेंट, if they want to put a restriction on our freedoms because we are Indians, then those grounds, those specific grounds which are provided under Article 19 itself, हमारे freedom को सिर्फ उन्हीं grounds पे ही restrict किया जा सकता है, right? There cannot be like an unlimited criteria to restrict us. जो specific grounds दिए हुए हैं उसी ground पे restriction होता है. But when it comes to putting restrictions on others, right, like a foreigner, तो foreigner के लिए basically government के पास government's power is much wider, and they don't have to restrict themselves only to Article 19, क्योंकि Article 19 itself does not apply to foreigners, it applies only to Indians, right? The next and perhaps even more important unique feature of Article 19 is 19 में जो reverse freedoms होते हैं, like freedom of speech, उसका अगर हम उल्टा करेंगे तो क्या हो जाएगा? If we try to reverse it, what will it mean? It would mean the right to remain silent, the freedom not to speak, right? So the freedom not to speak, the right to remain silent, and all of those are also fundamental rights under Article 19. Generally, freedom to move freely includes the freedom not to move freely, and if you want to live in Lucknow for the rest of your life, then that's also fine, and so on and so forth. Most of the other fundamental rights में again उल्टा वाला freedom या उल्टा वाला right available नहीं होता है, right? In fact, generally speaking, if you look at Basheshwar Nath versus Commissioner of Income Tax, very famous Supreme Court order, उसमें कहा ही यही है कि fundamental rights को आप छोड़ नहीं सकते हैं. Fundamental rights cannot be waived off. You cannot let it go. You have it and you will have to keep it, right? That's the idea of fundamental rights. Euthanasia, for example, is mercy killing, right? All of you have some idea about mercy killing, right? अब active euthanasia तो completely prohibited ही है. Active euthanasia is basically if I agree that Udhav या Ishanika, hi, good evening. I don't think I saw your chat earlier. If I agree कि ठीक है भाई, if I request you, can you please be kind enough to kill me, like I don't want to live anymore, ये मैंने देश में बहुत गलत हो रहा है, मैंने इतना सब कुछ देख लिया, सुप्रीम कोर्ट पता नहीं क्या कह रही है, किस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में उनका डिडक्टिव लॉजिक को क्या हो गया है, if I tell you all of those things and I please kill me due to my request, and then we sign a contract and everything and मेरा free consent से ही आपने मुझे मार दिया, then right to life does not include a right to die, so you will actually be charged with murder, irrespective of whether you can produce a contract or you can show my request, या मैं फोन पे आपको WhatsApp पे ऑडियो भी भेजा हूँ रोते हुए कि प्लीज मुझे हत्या कर दो, you will still be liable for murder and culpable homicide and all of those things, because this is active euthanasia, which is not permitted. Now what is passive euthanasia? Passive euthanasia जिसमें आप किसी को मार नहीं रहे, बस आपने बचाना छोड़ दिया. If you stopped saving somebody, like somebody who's already in coma, अब उसको आपको अलग से मारने की जरूरत नहीं है. अब अपना what is it, ventilator and other protective measures, जो medical measures जो लिए गए हैं, आप बस वो चीजों को हटा देंगे तो सामने वाला अपने आप मर जाएगा, right? Automatically the other person will die if you remove those essentials for life, right? So in my case, like if you don't do anything to me, I won't automatically die, right? I'll go figure out what to eat, and automatically I will not die. You have to cause my death. Now in situation 2 also you are causing death, right? But बस बचाना छोड़ दिया तो वो अपने आप मर जा रहा है. That's the whole idea. So passive euthanasia is permitted, right? This is something that you guys should remember. मैं एक बार probably just type it out on the chat box नहीं, मतलब here only. What was I saying? Passive euthanasia is permitted with the prior consent of the court, right? Passive euthanasia is permitted with the prior consent of the court. So अगर आपने कोर्ट से परमिशन लिया है तो passive euthanasia permit हो जाएगा. अरुणा शानबाग वर्सेस स्टेट ऑफ महाराष्ट्र, वेरी फेमस जजमेंट, जिसमें सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कहा था कि हाँ ये सब हो सकता है. कौन सा जजमेंट है, मैं जजमेंट भी एक बार लिख ही देता हूं. दिस इज अरुणा शानबॉग केस है ना, अरुणा शानबॉग वर्सेस स्टेट ऑफ महाराष्ट्र। एनीवे, सो इस केस में बोला था, बट एनीवे पैसिव यूथनेशिया का परमिशन उस केस में भी सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने अल्टीमेटली दिया नहीं था, राइट। बट फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच, वही मैं कह रहा हूं कि राइट टू लाइफ डज नॉट इंक्लूड राइट टू डाई, बट फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच डज इंक्लूड द राइट टू रिमेन साइलेंट, राइट। अर्जुन क्या कह रहे हो भाई? फ्रीडम ऑफ साइलेंस बेस्ट एक्सरसाइज मनमोहन सिंह। Yeah, don't don't remind me. Those were the those were the times, huh? Where Dr. Singh was Prime Minister, Meera Kumar used to be Speaker of Lok Sabha, Pratibha Patil was the President of India. It was those were fun times. Anyway, uh, fun times even now, but just a little different. Khair, I think all of you are getting the idea, and I just wanted to leave you guys with one more example about the national anthem. All of you know that you have to show respect to the national anthem and all of that, right? क्या है, मूवी थिएटर में भी आप जाते हैं? Like today, I think I'm going to be watching this movie called Rocketry. I don't know if you've seen it. On Professor तो क्या, Shri Nambi Narayan, no? Very famous scientist in ISRO. I mean, I've read all about him. I don't know what they're showing in the movie, but should be something interesting, I think. And also Madhavan is directing the movie, so that should be fun to see whether he's picked up direction skills also or not. But he's been in the industry for some time now, so I'm sure he wouldn't have done a bad job. Let's see. I don't know. No feedback before watching. Yeah, you have to, national anthem movie शुरू होने से पहले play होता है ना? Great movie, sir. Saw it yesterday. Oh, okay, nice. Then I'm at least feeling a little more peaceful, knowing that I won't be too bored watching the movie. Okay. Now, of course, if you are just ending a bit, okay, ठीक है, no spoilers, please. I have to shut down the chat box otherwise. I say, so national anthem पे भी now, do you have to stand up for the national anthem? अगर मूवी थिएटर में हो रहा है, कहीं पर भी हो रहा है, नेशनल एंथम के लिए do you guys have to stand up? Please let me know in the chat box. Hey, almost 30 people watching but only 15 likes. Guys, एक like का बटन में क्या चला जाएगा, है ना? Please drop a like. हम लोग को तो motivation मिलेगा ना. I'll tell Praveen and I'll tell all the others. Yeah, yes. Very good. So most of you are definitely clear that you do have to stand up for the national anthem. Now, do you have to sing the national anthem also? गाना भी पड़ेगा national anthem. Do you have to sing the national anthem? Yes, Sindhuja has an explanation. Also, yes, sir, singing is not necessary, but standing is compulsory. Excellent. That is exactly what the law is. You have to show respect towards the national anthem. अब ये जो showing respect वाली बात है, right? As long as you are standing up for the national anthem, you are already expressing your respect. तो अब respect के बाद गाना गाना जरूरी नहीं है, right? You don't have to necessarily stand up for the you don't have to necessarily sing the national anthem, because the requirement is only that. And what is the very famous landmark case? Mansi, that is very good. थोड़ा सा बस spelling का जो मामला हुआ है, from what I remember, it is Bijoy Emmanuel, right, versus state of Kerala, and it is also known as the also known as the Jehovah's Witnesses case, right? Also known as the Jehovah's Witnesses case. It's a very small micro minority religion. केरला के एक स्कूल में दो बच्चे थे, उन्होंने कहा कि नहीं, नेशनल एंथम में हम गाना नहीं गाएंगे, एंड द प्रिंसिपल ऑफ द स्कूल स्टार्टेड टेकिंग सम सीरियस एक्शन एंड सस्पेंडेड देम, expelled them. Matter reached the court, right? Isn't it Jehovah's Witness? तो वो वहां पर apostrophe छूट गया है बेसिकली फिर से witnesses केस होगा ना, तो ये यहाँ पर भी केस लाइक हिंदूज केस, रिलीजन हिंदू है, पर्सन इज हिंदू, रिलीजन इज हिंदुइज्म, हिंदूज का केस है, जो जेहोवाज विटनेस इज द रिलीजन, जेहोवाज विटनेसेस केस, is the case, right? So you don't have to stand up for the national anthem. Oh, sorry, you do have to stand up for the national anthem, but you don't have to sing the national anthem, because freedom of speech and expression includes the freedom not to speak, and that freedom not to speak जो है, it goes up to the point of even refusing to sing the national anthem of India, right? ठीक है, वैसे ही नेशनल फ्लैग है, कुछ है, आर्टिकल 19 पे भी आई ट्राई टू टेक अप another session just to discuss a few examples maybe, right? And those of you of course you think this is all making sense, इसी का थोड़ा सा और डिटेल्ड वर्जन जो है हम हमारी क्लासेस में करते हैं here at Clat Possible. I'm sure all of you have already visited the website. We have a lot of online classes as well. If you are not available at some of the places where we have our offline centers, and we have a lot of offline centers. So those of you who are in Lucknow or Kanpur or Allahabad or Delhi and Ranchi even, um, please do feel free to join in. We have one in Dehradun as well, and we have a center in Patna as well. So any of you who are in any of these locations, या इसके आसपास, so you can of course visit our centers, and faculty is pretty much uniform in most places. I also take up classes in multiple cities and so on. तो ज़्यादा detailed version, but अगर आप online में भी classes attend करेंगे तो भी इसका थोड़ा और detailed version वगैरह YouTube पे भी I will try to bring up as much of the information as I can. Of course full length classes की तरह YouTube पे sessions तो हमारा हो नहीं पाता है, but I'll try to bring in as much information as possible. I hope to see some of you in the classes as well. In the meanwhile, I hope all of you are having a lovely beginning to the week. Please have a lovely Monday evening, everyone, and I will see you guys very, very soon later on. Thank you very much. Have a great night. Bye bye.